Hi, Charlie. Hi, Astrid. Hey, sweet girl. Hi. How are things going for us this evening? Hi, sweetie. You have grass breath.
So I'm just down here in that little 2-acre plot that I was working on over the spring, and look how thick the grass has grown up here. This is probably one of the best crops of grass here, and I haven't done anything to improve it because I never got back down here. I still got piles of logs and debris everywhere, trees down. Deer have been through here. That's a huge deer print. So yeah, I'm just looking it over, seeing when and if I can get the cows to graze in here. Fortunately, it looks like it's drying up a bit because last time I walked through here a week or so ago, it was quite wet. But there's a tremendous amount of forage here. It's just got to debate whether I put the cows in here and then the heifers, or just the heifers, because the heifers are half the weight the cows are, and they don't have dangly udders to get torn up on down trees and such. So that may just be the strategy, but this has got to be a lot better fenced before I put heifers in here. Okay, so I am back here. My goal had been to get rid of all this alder in here and get it chipped up. That ain't gonna happen. I need to get the excavator out of here today so I can use it to load the manure spreader. It's supposed to rain later today, so I got a chance to finish over there at Farnsworth. And I need to do that. I need to get out of here. So I gotta move this pile out of my way. And I also gotta figure out how to temporary or think about getting in here to do some permanent fencing. So anyway, let's hope this excavator starts. I forgot to bring the battery pack with me. Oh, come on. Oh, it's not going well. Oh, come on. Come on and start. It isn't gonna start. Damn it. Okay. Alright, this was a waste of time. Ain't gonna start. Gotta bring the jump pack. So I guess I better go up and charge the jump pack. Really need this excavator today because after I got an appointment later this morning after milking, and then I got to start spreading manure. It's going to rain later today, so I really want to get the rest of Farnsworth coated, but I don't want to use the fresh stuff out in front of the house. I'm trying to be sensitive to my landowners, so I want to use the composted manure on that field right in front. And to do that, that means I got to use the excavator to dig out where the composted manure is in the pile. And unfortunately, I was running out of room to store manure, so I was piling the fresh over the composted. Now I got to dig to get to the composted stuff. And I could do it with the skid steer, but it's quite swampy, and it'd just be easier to reach out with the excavator rather than thrashing up and getting the skid steer buried. So I'll have to come back and do that, but I got to pick up the charge pack is in the skid steer, but I think it needs charged. waiting up on the cows coming up the lane. They called and they come. They don't always when they're down here. And I'm just looking over the very first field that we grazed them in, this little acre paddock by the pond. Tremendous regrowth already. I'm just trying to graze off the taller stuff down further before I get them back through here. They'll graze this off last before going into the big field. And I may have to start splitting days and put them on some hay or something if the grass doesn't grow faster in the big field, because I'm going to catch up the tail end of it soon. I think the cover here is pretty heavy, so I'm giving them a full 24 hours in each cell that I'm giving them. And hopefully that slows down the rotation a little bit, and they're still producing plenty of milk, so that's good. Spreading manure. This is my second load. The first load did not go to plan. Yesterday on my second load over in the other field, I discovered that if I had the tailgate, the slop gate partway down, then a big wad of manure wouldn't go all the way through the gate, and I wouldn't have a big pile in the field. Today I tried that, and I broke the shear pins on the bed feed that feeds the manure into the spinning rotors. Not an easy thing to fix with a fully loaded manure spreader. I did manage to wedge a crappy Phillips bit screwdriver in the hole where the shear bolts are supposed to go, and got it wedged in there so tight I couldn't get it out. So I just figured, well, it will shear the screwdriver or not. And it didn't, and I was able to spread that load, and I got back to the farm and fixed it and put in the only 2 shear bolts I have. So we're going to give it another shot. This is my second load today. I was hoping to get 6 done today, and I don't see how that's going to be possible because time's a-flying. But I am super happy to see that the grass is regrowing down here tremendously quickly. It's green everywhere. You can hardly tell some of the places where there was hay left. I was not expecting to see that when I came down here to this field this morning. This is one of the first fields I cut, and that was on Tuesday last week. It's Friday, Tuesday this week, excuse me. And Wednesday I wrapped the bales. Was that it? Or was it? Anyway, or was it Sunday, Monday? I don't remember. Anyway, but it was a few days ago, and the grass is already greening up, which is phenomenal. So let's give this a shot and see if I can spread some manure. My set here, I'm in second gear. I'm gonna put the PTO in. I'm gonna rev up, and I'm gonna go. Hopefully, it starts spreading. Yep, I'm slinging shit. And I hope I don't break shear pins this time, because that would be the end of slinging manure for the time being until I can get more shear pins. I do want to go a little bit faster. I don't want to lay this stuff on so thick. So I want to really keep things clipping along. I've got it on the slowest setting of feed. Even too fast. Yeah, so much for putting on a light coat. And this is the composted stuff. Ah, big wad in the field. I hate that. Now I gotta stop and clean that mess up. Alright, well, that is one of the drawbacks to spreading manure. in between cuts. This area a little extra love. Real problem is I've got some stone in this amount of manure, and it's, yeah, I just kicked a big one out in the field. Well, I didn't get to show you any of that because it went so fast. And now I am empty, and I've just scooped up that pile in the field. And I'm gonna get out of here and go fill up again, see if I can get back here. Spread some more, putting an awful lot of stone in the field. I hate that. Nothing I can do about it. It's just, it wouldn't matter what spreader I had. There's just stone in the manure because of how it's stored. So anyway, the ideal thing to do after this would be to drag the field with a spring tooth harrow or something, which I don't have, and it isn't in the budget, so I'm not going to even worry about it. But yeah, a pasture drag of some ilk would definitely be the way to go to get some manure on. Spread it out a little finer, break up the clumps, but ain't gonna happen. Not unless I find one used on Marketplace, something cheap. There's one that I want that's hydraulic fold that mounts the back of the tractor. Nice big one, so you don't have to worry about, you know, with a normal towed drag, pasture drag, you can't back up. You're basically committed to going around and around. With the fold-up 3-point hitch one, A, it's much wider than the one you could pull behind, and B, you can back into a corner and drag out from the edges of the field. Anyway, neither here nor there. I'm headed back to the farm for another load and see if I can get it done in a timely fashion. So I'm starting to get hungry, but I don't want to stop spreading because once I stop, I won't get back to it. I think I've come up with a different strategy to try and get this stuff spread better. I put it back in high range 540, not economy PTO mode. And I'm just gonna run the throttle at half speed, so not full. So it's not going as fast as it should, which should theoretically sort of sling it out slower, I hope. There's nothing I can, oh, whoops, I gotta change the feed. There's nothing I can do about the feed. It's set on slow speed. If I really wanted to pump out the volume, then I'd put it on high speed, but I don't. I just wanted to coat things with a dusting instead of what I've got. But anyway, and I can see now I clearly am going to have to walk all of these fields and pick up garbage. There's torn bits of plastic bag, there's bale wrap, there's stuff that blew into the manure, there's strings, there's rocks. Next time I do my grass walk, I'll have to come back here and do some cleanup. had to stop to change the camera position. And it's flinging stuff at me, so. This thing's almost empty. So probably 2 more loads on this section of the field, and then I got probably 4 loads in that other field. So 6 more loads. I did 6 today. Might take 3 on this field. It's hard to say. I don't know. This is covering okay. I mean, empty out the last of the tailings on this section I didn't cover earlier. Cows are doing an amazing job down here in the forest, and the white clover is, daisies too, but the white clover and red clover are blooming. A lot more white clover down here than I remembered. So we're having a good clover year, which is great. They're doing pretty good. Here's the difference between what they're on tonight, what they were on last night and today. Honestly not sure they're leaving a lot behind for the heifers. So fortunately the heifers have a lower need and will be a little more hungry and clean things up a bit more. Today's paddock, last night and today's paddock, was a little small for the cows. So the other one from the night before was about right. Both of them be too big for the heifers. So I think we're either configuration, they'll be fine, and then they'll be moving down. I think I've been rotating the heifers every second day since I started that. And honestly, since I mowed that section, I left them on that a little bit longer because there's that as well. So then I think tomorrow we'll move them down here to the first of these cells to follow the cows. There's quite a lot on there, actually. I think the heifers will clean it up a little more hungrily. And then we'll move them, rather than 2 days later, we'll just move them right on the heels of the cows, leaving a grazing cell between them. Just so horny heifers and curious cows don't cause trouble. Buy a farm on a river valley, they said. It'll be fun, they said. You get your exercise, they said. Well, I don't know. What did I figure this out as the other day, just in that one short field? A very steep 12-foot climb. This is more like a 30-foot climb from where I just was. At the end of the day, it kind of trying. Right there where that shadow starts. The break between the sun and the shadow, there's easily an 8-10 degree difference in temperature. And it's getting cooler. There's a slight breeze down here. It's only 9 o'clock in the morning. We're expected to have a very hot day today. I think the humidity index might be close to 100. I'm not exactly sure. It's going to be our second or third very hot day. So I've got the cows down here grazing. They were here last night. I'm just checking on them, collect them for milking. We're running really late. And yeah, they got plenty of shade down here. And they'll be here today for the rest of the day. Nice big pocket of shade under those trees. They do have to go a little bit far for water. I'm going to try and get it extended down here. I still haven't got the right pipe. I know where to order it, but yeah, I got to place a call Monday to Friday and I forgot to do it on Friday. So I have to wait over the weekend. Come on, ladies. Oh dear. What the hell? Fence line's totally down. Huh. Wonder why that is. Come on, milking, let's go, ladies. Probably a 5-gallon drink from Joy right there, and we'll see it in about an hour reflected on her SmaXtec chart as a big cold dip from her baseline temperature, because as they drink, the water chills down their core, right, passes right over the temperature sensing bolus. But it gives us information which is helpful during the summer about how much the cows drink a day. So I'll put Joy's thing right here. The lower blue line is an interpretation. It doesn't actually measure water volume. It says, okay, cold dip spike down equals X gallons drunk. And then they add that up over the day, and it gives you the average volume of what the cows drink. It's kind of cool, and it's really helpful, especially as it's getting hotter. I just looked at the SmaXtec data, and just for comparison, I'll put Bramble's chart up here. They're both similar producing cows. They produce about, I mean, Joy is amazing, calving in and producing as much milk on her first lactation, this early in her first lactation as she is. She's giving almost, Joy is giving almost as much milk as her older sister Libby, who is a very high producing cow. And Bramble is on her third lactation, and she's just starting to produce a similar amount to her older sister and her mother. So that requires a lot more water. So I use those two, even though they're a couple years difference in age, they produce a similar amount of milk for their similarity in ages, if you understand what I mean. So they're drinking about the same amount of water right now, 12 to 14 gallons a day. Now that's down because grass contains, it's like 80% water, right, or more. So they get a percentage of the amount of liquid that they require from the grass that they're consuming. So their daily water requirement is less because of that, but also that it hasn't been that hot, and it's been rainy, so their water is down, because also with consuming grass when it's been wet on these cool mornings, there's a certain amount of dew that they drink as well. So their water intake is a little bit lower, and I'm sure by the end of the day when it's super hot, they'll want more water. Now, the one thing I've noticed with the SmaXtec system is it measures the temperature, right? So a colder dip, colder than their body temperature, registers in regular timing, registers as them taking drinks of water. It was more pronounced in the winter when the water was bone-ass cold, but now that it's warm, the water could be 100 degrees. That's only a couple degrees different than their temperature. So it might not necessarily be recording the amount of water that they're actually drinking because the temperature difference isn't showing it. I think that may be a flaw or just a limitation, not a flaw necessarily, but just kind of a limitation. And I also noticed that when I had Bramble in the pen right after calving, she was drinking out of a 30-gallon barrel, which I filled twice a day with about 20 gallons. So she was drinking and there was water in it in the morning. So she was drinking roughly 25, 30 gallons a day. It was showing that she was drinking 40 to 50 gallons a day. And that she was sedentary because she was in a small pen. I wonder if any of that had to do with her miscalculating and the coldness of that water, seeming like she was drinking more than she actually was, and the interpolation was at least 10 to 15 gallons off from what my experience was. So I don't quite understand what that is. So the data is only a guide, right? It's in that particular case, the interpretation of how much water they drink in 24 hours. You don't want it to be zero, and you want it to be in an appropriate amount for the amount of milk they're producing, so they don't get dehydrated. And in the summer, so in that case, it's a perfect gauge just to determine, things are working, and the water system right now, I'm actually monitoring pretty closely because I got to turn it on and off because I've got leaks and hoses, and I'm waiting to get the permanent system in. So I'm actually paying way more attention. If I wasn't paying attention to the water system as much, the data from the boluses would be that much more helpful because I would know if the cows were out of water in a trough or where they were grazing or something if I didn't happen to observe it myself. I don't always even though I walked by that trough right there where Joy was drinking, I had turned on the water earlier so that I knew that it was full, but I don't always look. I don't always pay attention to that. I'm focused on the cows. I'm focused on looking at what they're grazing and other things. So, knowing that there was water down there that had been on is enough in my mind to say, yeah, they got water, but the bolus would certainly help if it wasn't the case. Cow cuddler. It may be over 87 degrees outside, but it's nice and cool in the bistro. All right, I am cleaning out the dairy barn. Now that I've made a significant dent in the manure, probably about half of what's up here is spread. I did not spread the older composted stuff yet, which is down below, partly because the cows are in the way, and partly because as much stone as is in some of this manure up here, down there I actually have some really big stones in the manure pile just because I ran out of room and I stacked a whole bunch of manure over a pile of rock. In an effort to get the dairy barn clean one winter day, I was just shuttling manure down there and sticking it anywhere I could. So I got to be a little more careful and meticulous cleaning and loading that manure. Plus it's composted. So I want to use that here on the grazing field so that I can put it in between when the cows are grazing, in between rotations, and it will provide nutrients and organic matter, but I think it won't deter the cows from grazing in that section. If I put on uncomposted manure, there's a strong chance that the cows will reject the grass as if it was fresh manure that they dropped. So I'm saving that for a little bit. Well, I need to, as soon as the heifers are out of the field there, I need to do something I have a little bit of composted manure up here at the back of the pile. So my goal is get the barn clean and put it in the spot that I just made. And this will probably fill it up. And then I'm going to go ahead and condense the big pile of manure out here, stir it up a bit, get it composting the rest of the way, what isn't composted, and then mix this stuff up. Now that I'll have the excavator up here for a while, so I'll just work on getting this stuff stirred up a couple times this summer and composting. Now that I have a manure spreader, I'm going to use the heck out of it. So I just use the excavator to pull back a bunch of this stuff so I can make more room. The sun's right in my eyes when I dump down there. I should have probably explained that in Maine here, we can't spread manure in the winter, unlike a lot of places. It's against the law from, I think, December 10th or 15th to March 15th, or any time the ground's frozen. So if for some reason we get an early freeze, or in some locations in the state, it freezes earlier, freezes in November. So anytime the ground's frozen, or from December to March, unless you get a dispensation, you are not allowed to spread manure. Now here, most of the time along the coast, we're not frozen in the ground until January, but quite often, starting in November, it just gets too wet to be practical to be trying to spread. So I want to try and get my winter spreading basically done, what would be that kind of autumn-winter spread. I'm hoping I'll be able to do in October, after, or just after second cut, whenever I can manage that, wherever I manage it, and then just coat the ground, including our field here, once the cows come off of it, and that should really help next year. And hopefully going forward, I will never have this problem of mountains. Well, I think that's 3 years of manure here. I did have a functioning manure spreader for a while. Both that I've had here allowed me to get quite a bit spread. But we're also running more cows than we were back then. So, and it wasn't until 2021 that we started housing the cows in the winter. Before, we were out wintering them, and so they were still what they call field drops for manure. It wasn't housed like this, so there wasn't a constant buildup. And what was, I was able to spread with 2 little spreaders just here. But now that I've got more silage ground or whatnot, I need to be keeping up with it, and need to be not having whatever multiple years worth of manure, composted or not, kicking around.